WBAY TV, your first alert station. Action 2 News This Morning live stream starts now.
Good morning and welcome to our Action 2 News This Morning live stream on this busy Friday. I'm Tammy Elliott.
And I'm Emerson Lehman. Thanks for streaming along with us. We want to start with that breaking news that we've been following just into our newsroom out of Bonduelle. Our crew's on the scene there at the 400 block of North Cecil Street for a structure fire there. We've been following along with this for about the last 15 minutes or so. When we saw the crews arrive, they were working on the front of that home.
Yeah, and we don't know if anyone's hurt in this, don't know how serious this fire is. Again, this is our photojournalist Alex there on scene giving us a look, and want to call your attention to the snow that's coming down as well. You're seeing the tire tracks in the road there, so those firefighters dealing with the snow as well, and those slippery driving conditions as they're heading out there. Again, this is in the 400 block of Cecil Street. That area around there too, those streets have been closed. Aisha had been talking about that in First Alert Traffic. We'll get an update from her as well. But again, live look here at a house fire, structure fire there. And again, we don't know how serious it is, but definitely a big response there in Bonduelle this morning.
Yeah, we're seeing the power company on scene. We saw an ambulance there as well, several fire trucks too. So we will continue to follow along with this as crews work in these snowy, slick conditions out there. Those probably going to be impacting you this morning as well, as we want to check in with Chief Meteorologist Steve Balon on this First Alert Weather Day. We're taking a live look at Shawano behind us here, and that is snow-covered downtown, Steve. We've been seeing that rain turn into snow really across northeast Wisconsin this morning.
Yeah, it's really coming down west of the valley. In fact, as I check my Facebook messages, I got a report just moments ago from Tyler Semrau, who says that they have about 4.5 inches of snow just south of Watoma. And that's where on First Alert Viper Max, you see this blue color here. That's where the snow is coming down at a heavier clip, especially northwest of Oshkosh, and that extends up into the Shawano area. Let's get a little bit closer here so you can see that band of moderate to heavy snow, just a few flakes from Oshkosh over towards Stockbridge. Interestingly enough, we've got a punch of some dry air coming up the I-43 corridor, so that has ceased the precipitation temporarily in around Manitowoc and Sheboygan counties. Green Bay also getting into a little bit of a lull in the precipitation, but it's snow north and west, and this shouldn't be a surprise because we've first alerted you to that for days now. Over towards the Bay, we have rain across Door County, but it's just on the west end of the Bay. After seeing a lot of rain and a little bit of some sleet overnight, we have finally switched over to some snow, and I anticipate we're going to have some slick conditions there for the next few hours. So until noon, we've got a winter weather advisory from the National Weather Service for these blue shaded counties north and west. That's where a lot of folks will have about 2 to 5 inches of snow. I guarantee there'll be a few areas that fall outside of that range. That's just kind of a general range, 2 to 5 inches. And it's north and west today. Our severe weather outlook is in the moderate category. If you've got any travel plans, the roads are going to be slippery. You're going to need extra travel time. East, as in Fox Valley and towards the lakeshore, more of a low risk of severe weather today, where any early rain or mixed precipitation will switch over to some lighter, wet snow showers. And if anything, I think it's going to be a little bit more slushy as we go into the afternoon and the evening, because some of the snow, at least in the valley and over towards the lakeshore, will be hitting the ground and partially melting as our temperatures will be just above the freezing mark. We're at 33 right now in Green Bay. We'll see a high of 36, and so we're not going to warm up very much, but it is going to be unsettled with some times of snow, and that will probably continue into the evening as well.
And so we're going to have this fresh snowfall. You were talking about this changing over. I mean, it was raining. It was raining hard when we were coming in this morning.
It was fun to see the change.
Yeah,
really.
and we were watching that happen on your Sky cameras, Steve, on our DOT cameras, that switch over, which really, that's what makes it tricky for driving.
I take a little bit of personal delight when we look at First Alert Viper Max, which is, as I said earlier, it's the Cadillac of storm trackers across the area. And then you could see, like in Oshkosh this morning, the rain switch over to big fat flakes, and you could see how on Viper Max it switches like exactly, like it really picked up on that freezing line very well. And that freezing line is right across our area with low pressure swirling overhead. And this low pressure system is also going to bring in a lot of wind across the region, especially across southern Wisconsin, the lower Great Lakes. But even here, it's going to turn blustery. You may have noticed that it's been rather gusty overnight. I know I heard my windows rattling a little bit. First Alert Pinpoint Predictor shows during the day, northwest winds gusting up around 25 miles an hour. Remember, as the snow falls and you get that wind, well, the wind helps to reduce the visibility just a little bit more. There might be a few rain showers lakeside and bayside mixing in with the mainly wet snowflakes today, but I would expect additional lighter snow showers for the midday, the afternoon. Here's 7 o'clock in the evening, still some snow showers across the area. As we go deeper into tonight, a lot of the snow wraps up in the Fox Valley, but we could still have some lingering snow showers right up along the upper Michigan border into Door County. So in the Fox cities, up through lunch, I expect a coating, maybe an inch, closer to an inch, inch and a half for the evening drive time home. And then by the end of tonight, you may be looking at totals closer to 2+ inches. The heaviest snowfall totals, though, as expected, north and west. So there's your First Alert Super 7-day forecast. We'll see leftover flakes this weekend and a trend downward with the temperatures. 33 Saturday, 28 Sunday, 24 for a high temperature as we go back to work on Monday. And with this unsettled weather on this First Alert Weather Day, make sure you're keeping on top of what's going on today, especially if you have any plans heading out the door. If you scan that QR code on the left side of your screen, you can download it, lickety-split to your phone or to your tablet, and free. Don't have to pay a dime for it. It has you covered anything from bright sunshine to a big blizzard. WBAY First Alert Weather.
All right, Steve, and with this fresh snow, it is definitely impacting traffic this morning. As Steve was talking, we're getting reports of new crashes coming in.
Yeah, Aisha's in First Alert traffic right now. Aisha, we can see a vehicle in the ditch right there behind you. Tell us what you're seeing out there.
Yeah, it's been very busy this morning. This is University Avenue, I-43, so we're looking south. These folks are going north on I-43, so this is just south of Bay Beach Wildlife Sanctuary. This vehicle ended up in the ditch, but really good representation of how just a little bit of rain and mixed with snow, no matter what, it could be slippery this time of year, especially when you're talking about those temperatures right around that freezing mark. So please be careful. It looks like travel is okay in that area. I also just received a new one. You guys mentioned we sent a push alert. So I have one at I-41 North at the ramp from Richmond Street. So that is North Appleton. I also have Wapaka County. Highway 10 is closed. Highway 10 going east is closed at County X. So a couple of different things going on this morning. The good news is some roads are improving, especially on major highways where we mostly saw rain, but those areas where we saw snow, not so great, including what you guys were just talking about, the breaking news in Bondwell, Highway 117, which is actually North Cecil Street in town, closed because of that fire that you guys mentioned at Flambeau Road, North Street. So you can use at least one alternative that you can use here is County Road E going eastward, then County Road F going south to end back on Highway 29 if that's something that you need to do, unless you have to go north, but that's just one option for you. Traffic flow wise, it is improving in Wapaka County, but it is a little bit slower, and to the north not so great. Wapaka, those roads are still completely covered, and even to the east of that, Clintonville, New London, you're included in that. And those road conditions to the north, not good at all, guys. They're very slippery, if not icy, because we have that mixed precipitation that could be very slippery as you're headed out the door. So beyond that, where we're looking at that split, it looks kind of interesting where we see the pink, the blue, and then the green right in a row. But even those areas where we're seeing green, obviously with a little bit of rain that we saw and then those temperatures, it could be slippery. So it is a really good idea to just take it easy as you're headed out the door.
Aisha, thanks so much. Now to a consumer first alert this morning, a very interesting story you've got coming up, Tammy. A local investigator warning about the cryptocurrency scams, which is something that you've been shining a lot of light on.
Yeah, we've really been talking a lot about this because in Wisconsin, $43 million was lost in part because of cryptocurrency fraud.
Huge amount of money.
And these cryptocurrency kiosks are showing up. You've probably seen them at gas stations, at stores, at laundromats. They are showing up more. So I talked with Outagamie County Sheriff Sergeant Sheldon Pedranzen, who told me how he's seen these scams escalate. He said in one case, he even had someone lose almost $1 million. So he kind of gave us a behind the scenes look at how They are tracking the funds that scammers steal, and it is not easy, I will tell you that. It's very complicated. He was able to even help one of our recent victims of a Bitcoin scam. She shared her story with us last month in our Consumer First Alert, and after her story, she was very appreciative of all the investigative work that gets done. So I contacted Outagamie County and talked with Detective Pedranzen, and really said, 2 years ago when these crimes were happening and they had local people coming in saying, I put cash into a Bitcoin machine, I know I was scammed. He was basically saying there's not much we can do. But they have some new tools in the county that they're using to be able to track it. It's pretty complicated.
Sure.
But I'll tell you that this is, he told me, international crime groups, money laundering, and the minute that people put in money in that machine, within 20 minutes, it can move to 20 to 40 different crypto wallets,
Wow.
Bitcoin wallets. So they have to track all this, but they do in some cases end up getting money back to people, which is important. And also something simple that they did in the county. He said when they noticed the uptick in these crimes, they put up, the sheriff's department printed up signs and put them and went around to all these Bitcoin machines in the county and said, hey, can we put these up? And they put up, and you'll see them in my story coming up, and they believe that it's reduced this scam by about 90%.
Wow.
It's not that it's not being attempted, but they say it gives that person moment of pause.
Just to look at that
to look
warning
at that,
there.
has someone directed you to go here and pay cash? Did they tell you you missed jury duty? Is it the IRS calling? Because what the scammers are doing is they're creating urgency and fear and telling you need to go pay. And if it's some kind of a fee, it used to be gift cards, talked about gift cards,
Sure.
and now this is the way that scammers are using.
And I know you'll have it in your story, but you had a really great soundbite this morning that said, officers will come there and tell some of the people this is a scam, and they're still, it just shows how convincing some of these scammers are.
Yeah, they're on the phone with them and so convincing that they have a problem and they need to take care of it. So want to cover that for you because it's happening to people right here in our neighborhood. So important to get that warning out. And he was very helpful and really gives you an inside look at that. So that is coming up in my Consumer First Alert. I'll be chatting with Chris Roth on our 4:30 newscast and then also my full story at 5 o'clock as well.
And before all that, if that's not enough for folks, they could also have another look at your Pokemon counterfeit story that you had airing
Yeah,
here.
we talked about this last fall, and Jake there at Green Bay City Cards in town was good enough to talk to us about how to spot counterfeit Pokemon trading cards. This is the story, and this was really eye-opening. If you are maybe a parent and you're buying these cards for your kids or you're a new collector, you might not know that this is big business. I mean, those Pokemon cards, the expensive ones, the collectibles, people are out there and they're scamming you for money. And the thing that Jake told me, he said, the sad thing is most of the people who are getting scammed are kids. So Investigate TV, that's our Gray partner. They picked up the story, so they're going to have that on their show, Investigate TV, at 3:30 coming up tonight. You'll see it right here on WBAY. And we also go into fake merchandise, like how much fake merchandise is out there, from clothing to auto parts as well, and really just what they're doing at the border to seize all of that. So from Pokemon cards to all fake merchandise, so we'll have that for you. A lot of Consumer First Alerts today.
Helping people keep their money safe. That is a great thing. We're taking a live look at our Oshkosh sky cam now as we continue to deal with the snowy Friday morning. And Steve, we have a question from a young viewer.
We do,
that we
huh?
think you would be the expert for.
I hope so.
This
We'll
is
see.
from our producer's nephew, Xander. He sent a text with a question about weather. There, read it on the screen. Do the weather people use time travel to know the weather or make inferences? Is this, he's 3, right, Garrett? He's 3. 10, sorry.
Oh.
I don't know where I thought he was 3, but he's 10 years
I was
old.
going to say inferences would be
yeah,
right?
that's a
It's
big
a big
word.
word.
Whoa. So his dad was apparently telling him that, we had someone who works in weather and was talking about the weather, so.
I'm going to be upset if you have a time machine back there
Right.
and you haven't
Didn't
told
tell
me
us?
about it. Yeah.
If I had a time machine, I think I would make some changes. Wouldn't we all at some point?
Yeah.
I'm guessing Xander is wondering how we know what's going to happen in the future. And meteorologists, we have a lot of tools at our disposal. And I think one of the best things that we have is these large global computer models, and they use different algorithms to try to figure out what the weather is going to do. There's a lot of heavy math that goes into it. I mean, these supercomputers, they do millions of math equations per second. I mean, can you imagine if you could do that?
Sure.
And so a lot of data, from weather balloons going up into the atmosphere and planes flying around will gather weather information, send the data to these supercomputers, and they churn out a forecast for today, tonight, next 7 days. The problem is that the data is flawed. And that's where meteorologists come in. We actually have to go through all that data in the different computer models, because there's not just one, and we have to sort it out and figure, okay, what computer data is reliable and what computer data is not.
You're interpreting it all. I know you showed us some of those, the models, and sometimes they're very different, not in agreement.
Days in advance.
Yeah.
You could have one computer model that says you get an inch, and another computer model says that you get 10 inches. I mean, that's a vast difference. But you need to get more data. And when you get closer to the event, usually that wide range narrows, and hopefully at that point you can give yourself a fighting chance to have an accurate forecast.
So Xander, if you're watching, that means if you like numbers and data and kind of piecing that all together, you can be a meteorologist like Steve and help predict
If I can do it, he can
as well.
do it.
So
absolutely.
Look at this. They said they used computer models to try and predict the weather.
Oh, there you go.
LOL.
Was
Let me
that
know.
Garrett? Was that your reply to him?
That was Garrett's reply.
Oh,
he wanted to let him know.
I'm too tired to lie to your child.
Love it. Garrett.
Very fun.
Garrett always making sure that the young kids out there know the truth.
If only we had a flux capacitor, like in Back to the Future, then maybe we could work on something to go back. But it's not available right now.
Don't be driving 88 miles per hour today, though, because it is
Don't
too
do that.
snowy and slick
never.
out there.
If you see a DeLorean going that fast, then let me know about it, please.
Have a great Friday, everybody. Stay safe on the roads. We'll see you next week.